Welcome to SpaceTrak for DIRTT. This is an exclusive video for DIRTT distribution partners and reps, and will walk you through how to configure your base module and set up a project. We have set up some DIRTT templates to expedite the configure process. I will show you how to modify our templates, but if you want to load your client-specific data, meaning their standards and functions, then you might want to watch the base video series found in the support section in the footer of the application. We start in our base module where we need to set up our new project and identify the rooms that we ultimately want to specify. Specifications take place in our advanced module. You can switch between the two up here with the icons. First, let's set up an entity and a project, which we will find by hitting the little cog. Hit anywhere in the entity bar and you will see where we can add an entity, which is basically a company or an organization. The only information that is mandatory is the name of the company, but all this other information is optional. If you would like to see a logo for your company or your client's company on all the reports, this is where you would upload. Now to add a project. First we select the entity or a company, which I'm going to select DIRTT from the drop-down, and then we add the project. Again, what is important is the name of the project. I also like to add a project number. Hit save, and depending on the subscription you purchased, you may see a note pop up that tells you what you need to do and that you will be adding a project to your subscription, or you can deactivate a current project. If you choose to deactivate one of your projects, simply go into the project list and select a project you want to deactivate. Yes will charge your account an additional $100 fee for every project over 2 you have open for the month. You can always deactivate and reactivate your projects in the future, and the data will not be lost. If you select yes, you will automatically go to the parameters section. Now, as I mentioned, we have created some templates that you can select to expedite this entire process. I'm going to show you how quickly you can get through the configure process by using templates, and then I will come back in and show you what comprises a template and how to create your own. We have set your subscription to a default, which has all the DP templates set to speed things along as much as possible. Once we make the selection of what you want to include in your project by hitting the radio buttons, SpaceTrak will open up an accordion for you to enter information in. The templates allow you to select that step. So let me show you what I mean. Space class, circulation, standards, job and room functions are mandatory requirements to make SpaceTrak work. As you can see, I do not have the ability to select no for these selections. It's either yes or templates. I need to forecast, so that is the only other button that we need to answer yes to. All others are templates. I then hit next and the accordion will open up to the one section that I answered yes to. Forecast gives us an option to pick a header that we want to have show up on our forecast screen. The options go from simple and little information to more complicated with lots of information. You can play around with them, but I am going to leave it at the default. We can enter in the years that we want to project, and similar to Excel, we need to identify how we want to see the numbers. I'm going to select no decimals except for the dollars and a comma for the separator. Hit save, and we are done with our setup. Our next step in the process is to go in and list the rooms or forecast, what we want to include in our project. But before I do that, let me take you back into the accordion so that you know what I mean when we say space class, circulation, standards, and job and room functions. This wizard approach for configuring takes you through the steps in the right order automatically. It's going to look a little differently for you here today because we've already set the templates. Each section builds on itself, and the section before it is very important, so you must stay in this order to make the changes. Space class breaks down the different classifications of space. Let's take a look at the templates and see what I mean. Anytime you see a DP as part of the template name, it means that this template was created for DIRTT DPs. We use BOMA standards, which are defined as office, lab, manufacturing, core, warehouse, and special use. Now we are in the circulation section. Circulation is the space around a room or the hallways, so we always apply a circulation to our functions or rooms. I'm going to select our DP circulation and add it to our project and hit save. Now we're going to go on to our standards. This is an important section because this is where we outline a standard system and assign square footage and a circulation to a standard. Your client may have their own standards, so let me show you how you can load a simple Excel spreadsheet. In every section, we provide an example. The columns that we have in blue are fields that are necessary, and the columns that we have in gray are informational. First, you need to name the standard. I use a C for closed room and an O for open areas and cubes. The number following is the square footage. The size is the dimensions of the room, which is great if you know what they are. This tells us the lineal feet, but if you don't know them, SpaceTrak will make the room into a square. When we assign square footage, and then we also assign a circulation factor, 1.45 is a good average. Save this spreadsheet somewhere on your computer, and you can simply upload it when we get to back to the main screen. Upload, and you hit save, and we will move on to the job and room functions. Now we are at the point where we want to determine our master list of functions, which are all the rooms, areas, and job functions. We have created a list of industry standard corporate office job and room functions that have a standard assigned. Let's look at the template. Here you can see the fields that we populated. The job function has now been assigned a standard, which has a square footage, a circulation, and a space class. Please note, in this particular template, we have specified all these rooms in ice and iceberg. We put an asterisk next to each function so that you know that it is the case. You can easily add your own additional rooms to the list by just typing it in at the top here, and then the drop-downs that we populated previously for each section will allow you to select a standard, a circulation, and a space class. You can also save anything you create as a new template that will then appear in the drop-downs back in parameters or in each section. So let's say we want to call this Bank of America Functions. Just name it, hit save, and that's it. So this is our master library of standards and functions that you can pick from and use in future projects. Nothing has been assigned to your project yet, and that's what we are going to do next. So we completed configure, and now we are moving on to forecast. Here are the two options. If you want to keep your head count separate from your support rooms, then put offices and cubes for people under the people tab, and all your support rooms like conference rooms and storage under the places and assets tab. For a simple project, I'm going to put everything under the places and assets tab, so we hit that. Now we select what we want to add to our project. So we hit the little plus sign next to the function, and it will roll down all the functions you have to select from. Let's select boardroom and hit a quantity of 1 and hit yes. Save. Then let's add a medium conference room, and I'm going to make that 5. And then let's go ahead and add a private office. I'm going to add a medium-sized private office. Let's make that 10. And then lastly, I would like to add a room that does not exist in the list. So I'm going to add a new function, and I'm going to call this lactation room. I get to pick one of the standards that I had. I'm going to pick one, and then I'm going to pick a quantity and a space class and add it, and there you go. If you want to forecast growth or reductions over the years, simply hit the little pencil and edit, and you can go in and either type in the quantity or you can type in a percentage. If you would like to see the report of what you just entered, go to the reports and hit functional projections, and then you can see the square footage that you require in the job. Let's zoom in a little bit. So that's it. Now we are ready to move on to advance to do our specifications.